And cuts don't need to use the form. Cuts, you just send them right on through. We play most anything that's not Lantern control for cuts. Mardu Pyromancer. This is one of those decks where people, let me update Stream Decker, where people have asked the question, you know, is this deck bad now? Has it fallen out of favor? And again, it just comes back to Modern's a format with 50 decks, and not every deck can top 8 every tournament. So I think Mardu Pyromancer is a very reasonable deck to be playing, but again, not every deck can top 8 every week. This build of Mardu Pyromancer I really, really like. This is the 75 we've been playing for a while, and there's 3 things I would like to point out about this list that I think are important that you should be doing if you want to play Mardu Pyromancer. Soviet Potato, thank you for the brand new Prime support there. God, Twitch usernames get me all the time. I appreciate the support. Take note of the things we have here. Blood Moon, Ensnaring Bridge, Leyline of the Void. Mardu Pyromancer is a relatively fair deck in Modern, but Modern is a format where you thrive when your deck gets to do something busted. Blood Moon, Bridge, and Leyline of Void, these are our 3 busted things. These are our cards that are very, very powerful in a variety of matches. And when you draw them and they're not good, you get to Faithless Looting them away. You get to Bedlam Reveler them away. So I've been a pretty vocal proponent that I don't think Blood Moon is very good in Modern in general right now. That being said, Blood Moon can still steal games of Magic. And I think that the fact that we're getting to play this in a deck where we can Faithless Looting it away or Collective Brutality it away when it's not good, and when it is good, it gets to win the game on the spot, I think makes it very, very powerful and worth playing. I've seen people doing things like cutting Blood Moon from Pyromancer. I've seen people that have never played Ensnaring Bridge, and I think that that doesn't lean correctly into what makes Mardu Pyromancer good. Nivik popped in. Say, hey, second day of a music festival. It starts like 80 and sunny. Nice. Yeah, it's 40 and raining here in central Illinois in Cornfield Land. Camel bags are great. Good size bags. Staying hydrated is important in things like that. Yeah, if I was expecting, I think generically in the format as a whole, I would favor Blood Moon in the main deck like I do here. But I think if I was playing a small tournament, like at a local game store, and I knew I was going to get more mileage game 1 out of Ensnaring Bridge than Blood Moon, I could see swapping the Bridges and the Blood Moons. This hand's tough. I think I'm supposed to mulligan this. If my opponent's playing a not fair deck, this hand is just too slow, and there's a chance this sand like bricks on a land and dies, so I think we should mulligan. Nothing but cord in all direction. I think a lot of people in other parts of the world have a hard time comprehending just like how large the United States is. Like definitely, I've seen people in other countries like complain that the United States gets as many events as we do. And I just want to be like, do y'all even realize how big this country is? Like if there's Grand Prix on back-to-back weekends, like on opposite coasts, like you can't go to both of them. Like, driving across states in the United States is like driving across countries in other parts of the world. That's almost true of Illinois, too. Illinois is very tall. This matchup's probably bad for us. I don't have experience playing this matchup from either side, but if I had to look at these decks on paper, I think I'd rather be on the Hardened scale side, so I'm interested to see how this plays out. This is an impressive start here. There's just no way I can beat this, right? I guess I can kill this. We can like fade. I'm gonna concede to a walking ballista if that, or yeah, walking ballista if that flips out. But if we can fade walking ballista, maybe we have a shot here. PK Jeff, thank you for the 2-month resub there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Welcome to everybody. Hope everyone's having a good Saturday wherever you're at. Thanks for hanging out today. Something I'm plugging for people in lots of different time slots, just to make sure people hear it mentioned. My schedule is going to be changing next week. So people who can't watch during the daytime during the week, I'm going to be doing an evening stream on Wednesday nights. That's Magic now moving forward, as well as a afternoon into evening stream on Friday afternoons. I will still be live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday during the day like I have been for a while now. All right, there's the walking ballista. If you upgrade to tier 3, yes, of course, we McGee. Marty, you're like sub-Santa lately. Thank you for doling out the gift of Roonies. I appreciate that. 10, that's so many, Marty. That's so many. Let me know if there's a deck in the queue you'd like to bump up. I appreciate that as always. This is an interesting question. Is this a Leyline of the Void matchup? I've actually brought in Rest in Peace against the opponent's deck when I've played them in the past. So I feel like I could see an argument for bringing in Leyline of the Void here. Leyline of the Void turns off Hangerback Walker making tokens, and it turns off the modular effects. I feel like this matchup's probably hard enough for those. Yep, definitely, Marty. Yeah, new subs, check out the Discord too. Marty's like all about... Marty's got the Hoaglandia down. Thoughtseize is a card I'm not super interested in. Collective Brutality is like okay, but it's slow. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do this and bring these ley lines in, I think. Chat, they beat Bridge with Walking Ballista. They beat Bridge with Walking Ballista. So I don't think that's good enough. It is. Enjoy your wonderful emotes. T-Tourist1, thank you very much for that brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Thanks for keeping me employed with that this month. Thanks for shipping your Bezo bucks this way. The Zoo deck was really disappointing. The Zoo deck was so sad that I'm going to request that it's a pallbearer at my funeral so it can let me down one more time. Regular size Jesse doling out the sub gifts. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So I have a rule. Skull is best keyword. Skulk is the best keyword. Thank you for the 2-month resub in there. I appreciate that. I think I'm supposed to mulligan this hand because I guess I have 2 wear tears. I have Pyromancer. All right. I feel like I'm going to die with this, but it's probably not bad enough to mulligan for Leyline. About to buy into Arena. There's so many decks that are sweet, Jet. Jet, honestly, Jet, you liked blue-red tempo, right? In Modern? If you liked blue-red tempo in Modern, Jet, and you want, like, a very minimal commitment to blue-red, or to Arena, the mono blue tempo deck, I think, is very good and a lot of fun. And it's super cheap. The Vexing Zoo deck was pretty bad, Average Bloom. It's kind of disappointing. I didn't want to turn one looting because I don't have anything in my hand right now that I really want to discard. And if I sit on the looting, I can generate an elemental token with it. Of course, Neil. You should put a header on the stream that just says Zeus sucked, right? It's hard to feel that way. I can't buy a win with the blue tempo deck. What am I doing wrong? Is there a primer somewhere? I don't know if there's a primer anywhere, but you can find my experience playing it on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Jeff Hoagland. I think Assassin's Trophy is fine. I mean, if you were, let me rephrase. I definitely think that a lot of content creators overhyped Assassin's Trophy. I also think that myself personally gave Assassin's Trophy an appropriate amount of hype. It was pretty conservative with my estimation of what I expected the card to do. I talked pretty openly about how I expected it to be a format staple, but didn't expect it to be particularly blowing anything open or changing anything at a drastic level. And it's basically done exactly what I expected it to do, right? Like, it's a card where it's showing up in deck lists, and you're like, yeah, that's a playable card. I understand why they play that. This is going to be there for forever. But at the same time, like, it's nothing to write home about. It's not going to, like, take the format and turn it on its head like some people implied it might. While we're waiting for the second match in this league to pop, I'd just like to thank everybody hanging out here today. My name is Jeff Hoagland. I'm a full-time streamer and content producer here on Twitch. We're hanging out playing some Modern today. We're going to play some Standard later. If you're enjoying my stuff, please consider subscribing to my channel. My subscribers are the people that keep me employed here full-time. I wouldn't be here day in and day out without their very wonderful support. If you're one of the many people in the world who has Amazon Prime, if you link your Amazon account to your Twitch account, you get Twitch Prime included with that for free. And Twitch Prime gives you a free subscription every single month to a channel of your choice here on Twitch. It doesn't cost you anything extra, and it lets you know, and it supports my content just the same as a $4.99 sub. Past subscribing, you can also support my stuff by checking out some of my very wonderful sponsors. MTGOtraders.com. Love to buy and sell some Magic Online cards with you, and if you use code Hoagland PayPal at checkout with them, you'll save 8% on your singles orders there. CoolStuffInc.com. Buy and sells a lot of cool stuff, including TCG singles. Using promo code Jeff5, you can save 5% on Magic, Pokemon, Warhammer, and Yu-Gi-Oh cards with them. BCWSupplies.com would love to help you protect your very valuable Magic the Gathering cards and other gaming products. They do lots of great accessories like sleeves, deck boxes, and other wonderful things. And you can save 10% on your orders at BCWSupplies.com by using code Jeff10. And of course, Lisa would like to get you on your way to a better night's sleep. Christy and I have been sleeping with Lisa for the last 4 months now, and we really love it. I don't think we'd ever go back to a traditional pillow top mattress. You can save $160 or more on your new mattress with them by checking out links bit.ly/HugelbedUS and bit.ly/HugelbedCA. I have Mardu Pyromancer, and I'm wondering, what do you feel about Goblin Crater Maker in the deck? I think that card's kind of narrow. That's the one just like destroys a colorless thing, right? Doesn't seem particularly good. Deals 2 damage to target creature or destroys a colorless non-land permanent. I think that seems a little bit narrow. Yeah, I agree with Velik. Usually you're just like blowing the Karn up after it's already Karned you once is generally not a winning proposition. You want to, the best way to approach attacking Tron with this deck, I think, is by trying to prevent them from getting to Tron rather than trying to interact with their things once they already have Tron out. Is Transformers out now? I know that was releasing sometime soon. I didn't realize that it had released already. I demoed that one at Gen Con. It seemed okay. I honestly just don't have time in my life for something that doesn't have a digital component, though. Alpine Moon is better against Tron than Blood Moon. You are correct. Resource efficiency is pretty key there. That, well, I mean, like, their entire hand here is, like, basically the same thing, right? I guess I Thoughtseize their Thoughtseize so they can't take my Bedlam Reveler, I believe is the line. Yeah, they've got Thought Scour, so they could be just a Lingering Souls deck, they could be a Delve deck, they could be something playing Goryo's Vengeance, perhaps, or Burial Rites. Yep. I'll probably... I don't know if I want to escalate this Brutality to bin these souls, but I'll probably give myself a chance to draw a white source. I definitely don't want to play the Pyromancer out just yet because I don't want it to just die to their Brutality being escalated. So I'm probably going to take their Brutality here. So that way I can stick Pyromancer the following turn. Because if they path my Pyromancer, I'm okay with that because I'm actually short a white source of lands right now. I don't think the prison decks are particularly good in Modern. I think both Chalice of the Void and Blood Moon leave a lot to be desired in this format. Unlike Legacy, where Chalice of the Void is very, very good, I think Chalice of the Void comes up pretty short in this format. So I'm going to take their Thoughtseize again. Again, just like trying to keep them off of taking away my my Bedlam Reveler. This Bedlam Reveler is like one of the ways we can really generate pretty large card advantage in a matchup like this. So being able to try to ensure that we're going to get that draw 3 trigger is a big deal, I think. Lost our Brutality. So my sideboard versus Affinity, you cut the bad cards and bring in the good ones. It's been a good system that's been working for me so far. I believe Mardu Pyromancer is one of the decks that has a sideboarding guide linked on my website, so you can definitely check that out. jeffhogan.com/decklist. Are we pathing my Pyromancer? Oh, we're just Thought Scouring. I got excited there for a second because I really wanted this to die to a path. They can Brutality escalate here, but then they're taking my Lingering Souls, and I'm kind of okay with my Lingering Souls going to the bin, so it's like deal. Yeah, I agree with that, Python. You also have Ensnaring Bridge out of the sideboard of this deck, which is much better against traditional Affinity because they can't kill you with Walking Ballista through it. So they've got Path to Exile, Collective Brutality, and then 3 cards that we don't know here. I really hope they path me, but honestly, they're probably going to Collective Brutality. How does this deck fare against the green-black decks? I think this deck has a leg up against green-black decks on average because of its grindy elements in both Bedlam Reveler and Lingering Souls, but I also think the matchup is pretty close and has a lot of play to it. Yeah, I have a basic Plains in my deck. One, Modern doesn't have a metagame. People that talk about metagaming in Modern either are talking about their local game store where the same 20 people show up every week, or they just don't have a very good understanding of like how a format with 50 decks works. You can't metagame a format like Modern in a tournament where hundreds of people are showing up. in general, I don't think Jund is worth playing over straight green-black rock. I don't think splashing red into that archetype adds anything meaningful to it that you don't get from just playing straight green-black. Hey, so the Goryo's Vengeance deck here. So we have Jace, Vryn's Prodigy coming back out into play here. They're going to flip this over. I assume we're going to see like a flashback Collective Brutality here. Kill my Pyromancer again. I think Scred's pretty bad for a lot of the same reasons that Mono Red Prison is bad. I don't think Blood Moon is good in Modern. I think the only reason this deck gets a pass to play Blood Moon is because we have Faithless Looting to loot it away when it's not good. Yeah, I guess we did prioritize taking their Thoughtseizes away from them here, so flashing back the Thoughtseize makes a lot of sense. Haven't gotten a timeout yet. I think it might be time. Bossum, thank you for the 3-month resub there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thank you for the continued support. Scred doesn't really put up a decent clock. So, like, Scred puts up a decent clock compared to, like, other mid-range decks. But, like, as far as, like, Modern is concerned, the clock that Scred puts into play is embarrassing at best. Like, 3 3s for 3, 4 4s with haste for 5. Like, these are not efficient Magic the Gathering cards. These are not stat lines that you're excited to be playing. I'm sorry if we missed you before, Isha. We got you now. Yeah, definitely, Bro Satyr. That's great. Just all the different decks. We've got Spirit. Yes, we do. We've got Spirit. How about you? Scred won a Grand Prix because it's just like, you know, sometimes Blood Moon's really good. When Blood Moon is really good, it's great. Is the best way to put it. One of my newer employees who's running a project for my overtime commented that he was surprised so many people hope to work weekends. I was like, oh, you'll learn overtime's like gold here. OT's not bad. Okay, so do I Inquisition plus Flashback Souls here, or do I just play the Souls out of my hand? I think I'd rather just play the Souls out of my hand. There's a good chance this Inquisition just, like, misses, either because they have, like, a 5-mana spell, or they're holding a land. Alright, so let's take a peekaboo at what we have going on here. It is, in fact, just a brick. It's possible I should have just Kolaghan's command, shocked that, and brought my Bedlam back, but, like, on the off chance they had some kind of counterspell, I really didn't want to do that. Oh, yeah, they already played this path, sorry. So I'm going to stop on my opponent's upkeep here, and this is for 2 reasons. The main reason is that if my opponent has a counterspell here, I want them to use the counterspell on their turn after they would have already untapped, because this then stalls their mana for another turn cycle. We're just holding a land. They drew a brick here, this Bedlam Reveler. Should just, like, bury them deep in the ground. Just, like, want to draw anything other than, like, another Bedlam Reveler here. Did my Moto die? Opponent concedes. Opponent agrees that the Bedlam Reveler is about to bury them deep in the ground. Opponent concurs with my assessment. Alright, so Fatal Push out here is probably fine. I'm gonna trim one of my Blood Moons, but they're probably okay to keep some of them in here. You know about cutting a couple lightning bolts? It's probably fine. Give this a go. Yeah, let's give this a go. Usually the concession lockups are more predictable, right? Usually, like, you know when they're coming. There's no Leyline in this hand, but it's kind of hard to pass up, like, looting bin 2 souls. We've not seen Obsidian, but we have seen Goryo's Vengeance. Alright, I think I'm going to go ahead and bin the Bloodstained Mire here to escalate this brutality. I want to check for a piece of removal before I put this Pyromancer into play. Reveler is often just 2 mana. Set Adrift. That's a magic card. Alright. I'm gonna take the Goryo's Vengeance here, obviously. So they can't get their Jace back. Morning Immortal. It's afternoon by you too, right? Are you Seattle time? Are you West Coast? It's technically still morning on the West Coast. Yep, they've been okay. So they have Leyline in the Void of their own. I guess I'm lucky they didn't have a Leyline in their opener here. If we get to a game 3, I'm probably going to bring in our copies of Wear Tear to answer that. Oh, the fetch line was a white source. Yeah, I guess that's whatever. I don't really have any white cards in my deck right now, right? I've got 2 Lingering Souls in my bin already. Modern doesn't have a metagame. So if the only reason you can come up with for why you want to do something is because of some imaginary metagame that doesn't actually exist, I'd think twice about it. Listen, Jen, all I'm going to say is there's 2 different coasts in this country. There's the coast on the right side of the country and the coast on the wrong side of the country. And Green Black Elves is great. It's my favorite aggressive deck in the format. You can find my current preferred Green Black Elves list on my website, jeffloughlin.com/decklist. How dare you, unsubbed? Listen, Chad, I can't pass up a point. I can't pass up the opportunity to make a joke that punny. Come on now. Pineapple on pizza is great. You gotta have barbecue sauce with it, though. Souls is pretty good here. Start with this. I think I'm gonna get aggressive here, honestly. I think I'm gonna kill their thing and drain them. Just ditch this Leyline. I haven't really seen those lists V-grade. Once upon a time, these decks had Spear in them, but I think they evolved past that for a reason. I feel like trying to be aggressive with a deck list like this is kind of going back to that whole role assessment thing, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with wanting to be aggressive in Modern, but like this archetype, that's not what it's good at. I feel like trying to be aggressive with this deck is not correctly identifying or leaning into what the deck is actually good at. I just like Dreadbore and attack here. Hey, I'm just gonna Dreadbore this token and attack. I have this Collective Brutality to drain them after the fact too. It's like, don't settle me, bro. There might be some splash damage coming through. They're currently on a different floor and through a door. So the kids are home on the weekend. Sounds like mother's been prompted. It's the thing you have to realize is that when you're 4, everything is the worst thing that's ever happened to you because your life has just been so short. Someone said the SCG had to cancel one of their opens because the venue had flooding damage from rains. And if it had a Faithless Looting, it would be very good, but it does not, so we're gonna mulligan. Seems like not amazing, but it's fine. Doesn't have a threat in it, but it's got plenty of answers. Our basic Plains Dreadbore looking a touch awkward here, but we can cast Lightning Bolt, Thoughtseize, Collective Brutality, so this is definitely a keep. There's actually a gas station that makes really good pizza in Central Illinois. It's called Casey's Gas Station, and they make a really good taco pizza. It's got like Doritos and stuff on it. It's quite fantastic. As the connoisseur of all of the garbage food I can get my hands on. Silver Falcon 43, thank you for the 2-1-3 sub there. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Blue-white control. What'd they do with their scry? They bottomed. There's 2 Grand Prix this weekend, and there's no coverage of either of them in English. There's no asterisk. There's no English coverage of them. Squee Goblin Nabob, thanks for the excellent content. Thanks for the 9-month resub, Squee. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I think I just take the logic nod here. Yeah. So like WotC like basically double punted this weekend. They started by not having a standard Grand Prix. They have 2 limited Grand Prix, and then they punted again by not doing coverage. And I feel about Molten Rain as a sideboard card. Why that instead of more Blood Moon since your deck is built around it? Am I missing something? So Molten Rain, this is actually a matchup where Molten Rain comes in. Molten Rain can destroy their basic lands after you Blood Moon them. Molten Rain triggers your Pyromancer. Molten Rain makes your Bedlam Revelers quicker to cast. Also, against Tron, Molten Rain tends to be a lot better than Blood Moon. Hey, NCRO, thank you for the 4-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I love doing the different time streams. I always catch a bunch of usernames that I don't see during the week. Speaking of, if you're someone, WMS Monkey, thank you for the brand new Prime support. Welcome. If you're somebody who primarily watches my stuff on YouTube because my schedule doesn't necessarily line up with yours, I'm going to be adding some more evening stream slots starting next week. I'm going to be doing every Wednesday and Friday afternoon into the evenings. As always, you can find my schedule on my website, jeffhoagland.com. Well, we've got some lands. This has been a really awkward game of Magic. I guess I should have kept some lands in my hand, huh? Yeah, I'm a big... It's been a while since I played this. I definitely should have kept some lands in my hand. Do I eat eggs? Yeah, I eat eggs. I'm pretty happy with the variety of eggs. Both sunny side up and scrambled are decent in my opinion. Snapplecaster here. Oh no, not again. Thank you for... Alright, that's a funny one. Alright, thanks for doling out the sub gift. Worth for the laugh. I had to do the double take there. Oh, Hex, Ripperoonie. Yeah, I think we're actually pretty far behind at this point. Maybe I'm supposed to keep the Dreadbore for the Teferi. Deathrite Shaman did nothing wrong. Thank you for the 3-month resubscription there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. An unbanned Deathrite Shaman in Modern. I feel like those accounts might be related. Thank you for the continued support at any rate. So Hex as a company is like they're kind of doing, it's kind of scummy what they've done so far. So like they haven't announced that they're dead, but they're basically dead. Look at that. I let them get to the Teferi a turn sooner. I'm such a stand-up dude. I'm such a stand-up dude, chat. Just like let their Colonnade come into play untapped. Oh, about Hex. So the lights are on, but nobody's home, basically. So their servers, excuse me, are still running, but they basically have just been posting cookie cutter things. And I guess they did post that they were out of money and weren't going to have another set released. Yeah, I think we're dead here. Move along to the next one. That was an awkward game. These seem fine. These pushes are bad. At least one Blood Moon out and some bolts out, I think. Seems reasonable. I mean, the only thing I really did that was kind of questionable that game was not holding lands for my Blood Moon, I think. Maybe I hold on to the Dreadbore. I don't know. They had spell snares, so maybe I have to just like hold on to both Dreadbores. Maybe that's the case you make. Those are, I feel like whenever I hear someone complaining about the blue-white decks in Modern, those are the people who don't concede in the situation that we were just in there. Like, the blue-white deck is a lot like Tron in that when the game is over, you're not actually dead. It doesn't kill you for a few more turns. And if you could recognize when you're actually dead and can no longer win the game, you'll be a much happier person. The voice sounded better when I was streaming upstairs. Nope, the mic is identical. Yeah, I could probably use a touch of sound deadening in this room downstairs. Another part of that goes back to my wife and I are moving in the spring, so I don't really want to do any upgrades or changes to this room because we're just going to have to undo them. It'll be wasted money and time for the most part. And like the audio quality here is like fine. Like it's not like I'm producing music. If I was producing music, I'd be super worried about the audio quality, but I'm just not. I think I'm actually going to get a mountain here. And I'm going to fetch plains and blood moon them. I appreciate the feedback, and like sound deadening is definitely something that's like been on my list, but just like not a priority at the moment. I don't know. I had some idiot on Twitter tell me today that blue-white's really good against Blood Moon. Oh man, do they have it? Okay. Okay, they're gonna get us. You're just gonna ignore the Blood Moon? Not ignoring it, okay? How much do we have to pay you to produce an album? Maybe the person that was telling me blue-white was good against Blood Moon was incredibly lucky just like this. That would make a lot more sense. Yeah. It's just it both shuts off your creature lands and chokes your blue mana. If you're really good at drawing basic lands, Blood Moon is bad against you. Prime Ape, thank you very much for the 2-month resub there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thank you for the continued support. Just gonna grab another red here. I think if they cast timely reinforcements here, I'm going to wait. Did they just not get a land? That's what just happened there, right? They just like failed to get a land. Deal. And I must have misclicked. I played the Kolaghan's command aggressively there because if we drew an untapped land here, I'd be able to cast my Bedlam Reveler. Obviously, we drew the worst card in our deck, which was a second Bedlam Reveler, but I think being aggressive with that there is correct. Alright. Snapcaster Mage, and then one card I don't know. Six mana Bedlam Reveler. Still okay. It's a pretty good hand. Found some you know, some Noctane, some gasoline. Yeah, Blood Moon is very reasonable against elves. Wait, they just timely again? That's weird. All right, so I'm gonna start by well, huh. Smush. So I guess they're gonna block with everything here, and I'm gonna shock the Snapcaster, make them discard a card. So they're gonna get to kill my Bedlam Reveler. But I trade with their board. Like, I guess they could have Dispel in their deck, but Spell Pierce is pretty unlikely. Honestly, I'd be pretty surprised if they had Dispel it in this matchup. They had Spell Snare. They leave one soldier back, right? So they have nothing versus our Thoughtseize Bedlam Reveler. Definitely going to spot check with a Thoughtseize here before we jam our draw 3. Yep. And then I'm pretty sure this Pyromancer is just staying in hand here because Terminus is their catch-up mechanic at this point. I don't have any reason to extend into that. Cracking a fetch land. Did we draw Teferi? We did. Yeah, holding a land for looting is the reason why I didn't play the Bloodstained Mire out. We have 6 lands in play, which should be plenty. They're dead, right? I kill the Teferi for good measure, but... Went a little bit better than the last game for us. Yeah, they did not untap there. Maybe they misclicked, or maybe they just like drew a land, so it didn't matter. Could be either, right? I think chat's right that the extra Blood Moon's better than this random Lightning Bolt. Do you ever get burnt out playing so much Magic? For some reason, I haven't been having as much fun with it lately. When I find myself feeling burnt out, in my experience, it's usually because I have the wrong mindset while I'm playing Magic. When I at least personally, when I've felt burnt out in the past, it's because I'm putting too much emphasis on my results and not just enjoying the game that I'm playing. Also, like, what I do here, the way that I play so many different decks and why we play different formats now, part of the reason why I enjoyed adding some standard back into is because variety is the spice of life, right? And one of the reasons why Magic is such a great game is because Magic, in a lot of ways, is a lot of little games all wrapped up into one, right? So, like, playing Modern versus playing Standard is almost like playing a different format in a lot of ways. So while I definitely have moments where I get, like, sick of playing a specific format, I think getting sick of Magic in general is not something that I've really experienced. Hex basically just ran out of money, for lack of a better whatever. Playing a different game, that's what I mean. If I said different format, I meant different game. Different formats of Magic are like playing different games. For all intents and purposes, pretty much. Alright, you've got some sweepers. I've got your Cryptic Command. Let's go. Playing a different format is definitely technically correct. It's not something useful to say, but it is technically correct. Grab my basic planes here. Probably grab a Blood Crypt off of this. I assume they're going to Verdict away my Pyromancer next turn. Oh, hey, I get a sub too. Thank you for the 30 months, Marty. You've been absurd support here through that time. It's been fun to travel and change and grow from Magic to Hex to Magic again. When testing Steel Leaf Champion and Elves, I feel like that Elves' weakness individual creatures are weak, and he gives it some sort of spine against mid-range. I think your plan against mid-range is to just go wide around them. Obviously, I agree with you that the individual creatures and Elves are weak, but that's a feature, not a bug. That's one of the things that makes Elves good, is the fact that it's a swarm deck and not like an individual card quality deck. Yeah, so they put Jason to play here, and I'm sure they put Terminus on top of their deck, right? But, like, this is still basically a 1-for-1, because I get to, like, kill the Jace, but also, like, make them discard a card here, so I think this is a fine exchange. So, like, this is going to be Terminus. They still have Supreme Verdict left over. Double Bedlam Reveler, like, looks a little bit awkward, but I'm going to get to Faithless Looting the second one away, so it's, like, not really a big deal. Thoughtseize is a great draw. I think I'm actually just going to go ahead and pass the turn here, and then next turn I will Thoughtseize into Bedlam Reveler. You remember, you don't have to fire off your discard spells as soon as you draw them, because I want to give my opponent, like, my opponent draws Cryptic Command this turn, I want to be able to take that Cryptic so I can't stop my Bedlam. One of my go-to phrases: you aren't wrong, but you can be more right. That's a good one. I might use that in the future. We get punished here if they have, like, Vendilion Click, but it's a pretty narrow subset of things that punish us. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and take their Path to Exile here, because I'd much rather they have to tap out for a more expensive card to kill my Bedlam next turn. Don't mind me, just burying you deep in the ground. So I'm actually going to take their Terminus here, because I kind of don't mind if they Supreme Verdict me next turn, because then I can Lingering Souls plus Bedlam the turn after. Whereas if, like, they're holding a sweeper, I can't play more cards out of my hand, really. Just, like, deal. Have I mentioned that this deck grinds, chat? Have we brought that up? How about another draw 3? Is that good? How do we feel about that one? Go. How about if I shock them and pick my Bedlam Reveler back up this turn? Actually, am I supposed to? Yeah, I'm gonna flashback this Faithless Looting. And I think I might draw step, K command, make them discard, pick my Bedlam up. This is just so gross. This is just obscene. This is just, like, completely unreasonable. So I'm going to draw step, shock them, make them discard. Or am I going to draw step, shatter this, make them discard? Yeah, I'm going to draw step, shatter this, make them discard. So you discard, shatter this. We played Mardu with Nahiri and Emrakul, and the Emrakul was really awkward a number of times for us. The conclusion we came to at the end is that I think I wouldn't mind playing, like, one Nahiri in the deck, but I also didn't like the Emrakul. Now I want to play out this Bedlam this turn, I think. Just, like, keep moving through my deck, basically. Although, maybe you are right, and I just don't want to play around Terminus. I want to play around Terminus. I don't know. Like, they're dead on board now. Just kind of buried them in cards. I feel like that game was kind of like just like a master class in why this deck is good against these fair decks in Modern. Like, fair decks in Modern just, like, don't keep up with, like, Kolaghan's command back my Bedlam Reveler. One Nahiri main, one sideboard. Yeah, so a split on Nahiri seems interesting, Brosader. One of the things I really like about Nahiri is that she's a clean answer to things like Leyline of the Void and Rest in Peace, while also being a card that has a text box when they don't draw those cards, right? And like Nahiri ulti getting a Bedlam Reveler is like pretty reasonable. We're 2-1 here with Mardu Pyromancer. After we finish up this league, we've got at least 3 more Modern decks today, and then we're going to play some Standard to follow it up after that. We've got Abzan vehicles, Abzan cards, Psy Mentor Outcome, and then Black-White Repeaters coming up. And as always, if you want to find out what's in those decks, if they sound sweet, because, well, they are, you can find deck lists for all the upcoming decks that we're going to be playing on stream on my website on the Deck Q page. There's actually a new Necrotic Ooze deck that's been getting some coverage because Friedman wrote about it on Star City Games, and we have that one in the queue, so I'm interested to see when that one comes up. Brendozor, thank you for the 4-month resub there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. You know the price of this deck in paper? This deck's pretty expensive in paper. Blackcleave Cliffs got really expensive. Another Goryo's deck. Okay. Is there a reasonable card I can run instead of Blackcleave Cliffs? Yeah, you can play 1 Dragon Skull Summit, another Blood Crypt, and then 2 fetch lands. Or like another fetch land and another basic, I think. Would be my recommendation for... So, since I have this Dreadbore, I'm just going to go ahead and stick the Blood Moon. They're going to get to like flip Jace next turn, but I can just Dreadbore him. How can you support me for free? By just doing what you're doing right here, which is showing up and watching my content. I appreciate you for being here, Benz Walker. Can watch stuff on YouTube too. No, I don't think you should play a Pain Land. I think I would play a Dragon Skull, a Blood Crypt, and then... Blood Crypt just got reprinted too, right? So like going up on Blood Crypt isn't terrible. Is there no planes in this deck? There is a deck list on your screen. If you're on mobile, you can type !deck in chat to get a link to the deck list. So we just got supremely punished here. They had the basic swamp in their hand. They got to loot Obsidat into their bin, and then they got to flip it out. Pretty unfortunate for us. I agree that Dragon Skull Summit is worse than Blackcleave Cliffs, but it's also the best budget alternative. Good. Is my stuff on YouTube monetized? It is. One of the upsides to me not taking music that doesn't belong to me is I get to monetize my YouTube channel. That's a big reason why a lot of people who are bigger that stream with music in the background that they don't have the rights to stream don't monetize their stuff on YouTube. Because you can't, YouTube doesn't let you monetize. Actually, I'm kind of surprised that you're able to monetize on Twitch too. I just assume Twitch just like hasn't been big enough to be sued yet about that. Yeah, sure. I think honestly, I think just like this deck doesn't keep a ton of one-landers anyways though, and I'd kind of like the Dragon Skull Summon as a painless land. The shocks from Blood Crypts are not free. Not turn 3 Obsidat is not beatable for this list. Would Twitch be sued or each individual? I assume they could go after both because Twitch is making money. Everything on Twitch makes money off of. So like Twitch, in addition to the content creator that's using someone else's music, is making money off of their thing. That's not true, Seven Crosses. They don't monetize their YouTube because they legally can't. YouTube doesn't allow you to monetize it. They're not just like taking money and giving it up out of the kindness of their heart. They're not monetizing it because YouTube has very strict rules about what you can and can't monetize. I'm sure they do, Jet. I'm sure Twitch is owned by Amazon, right? And like Amazon, I'm sure has crossed a lot of their I's and dotted all the T's and all that jazz. I completely believe that when Amazon eventually gets sued for the music on Twitch, that they have a plan in place. Yeah, I agree, microbiologist. I also think it's, so like, the exposure argument is, and we talk about this on stream so much, the exposure argument is just like dishonest garbage because you can license music. You can license music in a way, I mean, it is against the law, JVL. That's what those licenses mean. Artists who want to work for exposure can license their music so it can be used in exchange for exposure, right? Like, the reason why royalty-free music exists, music that you can stream on Twitch and on YouTube without breaking your TOS, is because that music is licensed in a way to allow that to be a thing you can do. Standard's been sweet recently. We're gonna play some more Standard tonight. I've been enjoying the Standard format since it rotated a lot. Yeah, I agree, JVL. The only reason they don't do it on YouTube is because it's enforced there. You could technically set up with a double OBS setup where you could record locally without the music, but that's a lot more work. It's a lot more strain on your system. You probably would need a dedicated streaming rig to do that in order to cut the music out. Hey, Kalamomo, thank you for the 2-month resub there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. I think we're probably pretty dead here. We're just like don't have the tools to beat this Leyline of the Void. Would you look at that? It's that time again. Put this towards a dealer's choice of a tribal deck. Will do, Captain Command. And we'll pick a sweet one later for that. All right, we're 2-2. Yeah, that's true too. If your stream needs music to be entertaining, your YouTube's probably not going to be very entertaining without the music. Some bits towards Sultai Goryos. Thank you, Kalmomo. I appreciate the support. As always, any bits you donate, or bits you cheer, or dollars you donate, 100 bits or more, or $1 or more, you can always bump a deck in the queue with that. Nate Vilang, happy anniversary, you smart thin man. Thank you for the 5 months and welcome back. I appreciate that. All the things that exist for copyright enforcement aren't built for real time. Yep. That's the TLDR, right? Like the easiest way to know if someone you're watching is using music they don't have permission to stream, just watch their past broadcast. If their past broadcast is muted, they're breaking their partner agreement. Definitely am interested in binning this. I think I'm gonna bin the Young Pyromancer here because I could pick it back up with Kolaghan's command later. There's potential that like it's a matchup where Blood Moon's not good, but I don't know that yet, so I'm gonna hold on to it for now. Erdia wins with the bits. Put these towards Mono Blue Devotion. Do you have any tips for how to construct a sideboard in Modern? The most important thing to realize about building a sideboard is that your sideboard is part of your main deck, right? So Your sideboard is part of your, not your main deck, your sideboard is part of your deck, right? So rather than building them separately, there's something that you want to go hand in hand. So the best way to approach building sideboards is think about 10, 12, 20 matchups that you want to play in Modern and write down what you want to cut in those matchups, and then figure out what cards you can be boarding to bring in those matchups. You don't just want to put random cards in your sideboard. You want to figure out what you have room to be cutting because that matchup is doing a particular thing where you have cards that are bad, and then figure out what you want to put in to bring in those places. Rossum, if you set your computer up correctly, you can actually stream where you can listen to music while you're streaming, but the music doesn't go through to your OBS. So if you would like to listen to music while you're streaming, it's very easy to, I haven't done it on Windows. On Linux, you can definitely do it very easily, and on Windows, it's possible. So what am I doing here? I think this is a Damnation. I'm gonna take the Damnation. Watching on my Xbox and got an ad before your channel started. I'm not mad, I'm just telling you in case it's something you weren't aware of. Thanks, Trustee. I'm not sure if the sub ads can be disabled on the other alternative devices. It is also very easy if you use headphones too. Yeah, exactly. You could also just like plug your headphones into your cell phone. You can mute desktop sounds, but like, for instance, like, you know, people want desktop sounds for some games, right? Like, obviously Magic Online doesn't have meaningful desktop sounds, but like real video games and like Magic Arena have desktop sounds that you would like to convey to your audience. It's a little fatal. See Tar Pit come down here. So they have Snapcaster Mage, Jace, and then two cards we don't know here. Interesting, Zauzi. That's good to know. For Jeskai Angels in Standard, thank you, Furious Squirrel. I appreciate it. I don't really have... I didn't really make an opinion about those BDP because I don't really have skin in that game, right? So, like, me talking about Pro Tour changes that are happening doesn't feel like it's a good thing for me to be discussing, really, because I don't have skin in that game. You can actually run MTGO and Arena using Wine on OS X the same way I do it on Linux. The Real Juicy John, thank you for the brand new Prime support there. I appreciate that. You can just throw money at me forever. Green Black Elves is always a welcome rerun. That deck is great. So we're gonna try and get grindy here. I'm gonna pick this up. I'm gonna discard a card from their hand. What would I cut for Nahiri in this 75? Honestly, it might be one of the wear tears from the sideboard. In the main deck, maybe you could go down a Blood Moon. You could also trim like the third Collective Brutality, I think. Something along those lines. What would WotC need to do to try and get me to be a pro player? I have no desire to be a pro player. It's just not my jam. Even a well-constructed pro circuit is going to make less money consistently than like what I'm doing here. I'm an adult who wants to play Magic as a job, right? Like, I'm a child who wants to do child things as an adult. And like, just like the level. Guess it's time to turn on the pay-per-view. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts on this. Civilized Scholar, thank you for the very generous cut the line. This is Sultai Clever Impersonator. Sounds good. Thank you for the support. The Zoo deck was really disappointing. Felt really mediocre. So we've both almost run out of resources here, but worth noting that I have a Lingering Souls in my discard pile and a Faithless Looting as well. So I'm a little bit ahead right now, I think. Yeah, that's probably true, Hangman. If someone's gonna pay me 100 grand a year to travel around to a bunch of Magic tournaments guaranteed, definitely. So the only issue I have with Wine and Magic Arena right now, Microbiologist, is that their updater doesn't work. So every time Magic Arena has an update, I have to delete my Wine directory and reinstall it. But that just takes like 30 seconds, so it's really not a big deal in my opinion. The installer works, but the updater doesn't. And that's definitely a Wine issue. It's not an Arena issue. A flashback. Lingering Souls here. Probably bolt this Creeping Tar Pit when it attacks. Oh, really? If you installed... Is it .NET? If you install .NET, does the updater work? I haven't actually poked at .NET. I assume, based on everything else being .NET that WotC does, that their updater is .NET. I've not tested Copper Horn Scout in Elves. Okay. Fallsburg, thank you for the 2-month resubscription. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I don't think I want a basic planes here. If I draw Lingering Souls, I can just bin it to a looting. 4-7-2. Oh, there's a 7-2 now. We've moved past 6-2. It's exciting. I'll have to give that a try next time. I actually just blew my arena away last night for the update. Yeah, it looks like they're playing Sultai Control, which I have to imagine is a pretty good matchup for us. Again, just like these fair decks tend to struggle with like how much value our deck can generate. The queue always needs green-black elves in it. Will do for every dark. Thank you for the support. That says 1,600, 1,500. Not willing to trade Snap for Lingering Souls token. Seems reasonable. Looking for the Bridgevine list. You can find Bridgevine's one of the many deck lists that you can find on my website, jeffhoagland.com/decklist. Find lots of good stuff on there. I should probably leave a Spirit back here to block the Snapcaster. I got kind of excited that I drew Blood Moon though. I got excited, chat. I just hit a space. The opponent, we've boarded the opponent into a Grixis deck. Sounds good, Marion. I don't see one on Twitch, though, so if you sent it on Twitter or Discord, I'll definitely check it later, but I didn't see a whisper come through. Does MTG Aaron have me blocked on Twitter? I don't think so. I'd be surprised if he doesn't have me muted, though. You can't tell when somebody has you muted. I tag him in enough unbanned Stoneforge Mystic posts that I assume he has me muted. So they're dead to these bolts next turn. Wondering if you and people in general prefer MTGO or MTG in real life and why. As far as just like playing Magic goes, like if my only goal is to play Magic, I think playing digitally is vastly superior. The amount of actual raw Magic that I get to play on both Magic Online and Arena is just a huge difference. Whereas in paper, things are, this is I drew a Damnation attack, or I drew the Swamp for my Damnation attack. which is unfortunate because they were dead next turn. Kalitas, sure. All right. No damnation, just dead. Whereas on Magic Online, the amount of games you can play in like a really small period of time is huge. So, yeah, paper Magic is better as a social outlet, but as far as like just like getting to play a ton of Magic, you'll get to play far more Magic digitally than you ever can in paper. It's just what it comes down to. So if your goal is to like hang out with friends, obviously digital can never compete with that. But if your goal is just like play a buck ton of Magic, like you really can't beat what Magic Online and Arena are offering. What are your thoughts on a modern deck that's easy to learn? I'm trying to get my girlfriend into Magic, but I only really have modern decks. So I think Burn is kind of like a great default, awesome like deck that's powerful and pretty easy to pick up. And I think Green Black Elves is another good choice as well. Bump Elves, let's get some idiots with little green men. Thank you, Dursty, for the $5 tip. I appreciate that. Democracy for Forever's Green Black Elves. Thank you, Sheik. Green Black Elves really is a fan favorite. We'll get to that one again soon enough. I really like that deck. That's my favorite aggro deck right now. How do I feel about the NRG circuit? It seems very reasonable. If you're within driving distance, especially in the Chicagoland area, the tournaments that they're doing are great. I think they announced next year that they're going to be 5Ks, which is quite absurd. It's funny. I was actually I just talked with the owner of Nerd Rage, talking about potentially doing some advertising stuff on my channel for their circuit. Downloading Arena as we speak. What should I know getting into this? Learn the hotkeys. Space presses the continue button and enter auto passes. Right, Defara? Arena is really good software. This hand doesn't have any threats in it, but Call Against Command is pretty hard to pass up here. So I'm probably going to fetch Sacred Foundry with this and then Basic Swamp with this, because remember there are still Blood Moons in my deck. So I want to get access to some of my basics. You're cute for you won their thing to play in their 10K at the end of the year, right, Alex? Matt was actually trying to rope me into... What's going on, Proxy? Matt was trying to rope me into playing their team event on the 3rd in November. Which I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not. I want to practice drafting. How much money am I spending on Arena? I don't know. How much are you winning? Sacred Foundry. I'm going to Collective Brutality them on too, kind of get a peek of what's going on. So I'm actually not a huge fan of team events. Like, if I want to just hang out with people, I kind of have a lot of decent avenues to do that don't involve like going to a Magic tournament. And I feel pretty stressed and frustrated when both like, I don't like my Magic results impacting my friends. I would rather my choices, I feel like when I go to a team event, I can't play Magic in the way I enjoy playing Magic, because I enjoy playing weird decks a lot of the time. And if I'm playing weird decks, I'm more likely to do poorly. And like when me doing poorly is only on me, it's not a big deal. I don't mind risking doing poorly. But when like me doing poorly because I wanted to play something weird could impact my friends, that's not something I really want to do. So it really just creates this like feel bad moment for me personally, at least. And like the first couple of times I did team events, I enjoyed it. but like SCG's done so many of them now that just like they don't feel special anymore to me. All right, so they're gonna Collective Brutality, take my Dreadbore, I'm assuming here, and then hopefully we draw a land so we can go Kolaghan's Command, shock your Snapcaster, discard your Jace. If we hit a land here, we're ahead in a big way. If we miss, we're gonna be in a lot of trouble because this Jace could take over the game. What's clever, Sultai? It is, it's this weird combo deck that we're gonna play next. It was a cut the line donation, so it's not currently listed in the queue. Feels really bad. Probably close to just dead here now. Jace is gonna take over the game pretty quickly. Yeah, I could see that Nexus. Like I said, there's a reason why they're doing as many as they're doing, right? Like they're obviously like have a lot of people showing up to them. It is a clever impersonator plus Garrick deck. Cannon Gear with the big 3-0. I want to make sure you get to Abzan Cars today, so adding this in sounds great. Abzan Cars is locked in for after Clever then. Thank you for the support, Cannon. Cannon, if you didn't see, I did build the Abzan deck last night or this morning. I forget. They all kind of blur. But the list I'm planning to play for Abzan cards is linked in the deck queue right now. I'm just gonna go ahead and concede here. I'll take one draw to I'll take one draw to Dreadbore, or looting plus a draw to Dreadbore. Yeah, I just enjoy playing Magic from home as much as I enjoy playing, you know, Magic in paper these days. So if I'm going to a tournament, I kind of want to like take it seriously, and I feel like I can't take it seriously in the same way if it's a team event. Is Black White Chads on my website? I believe I called it Black White Super Friends. Should be on the site. Why does Garrick plus Clever Impersonator end the game? Google it, please. Somebody else will do it. Or somebody else will bring it up. It's a long explanation. So the deck's goal is to draw games. No, the deck's goal is to play kind of a mid-range game plan that it can draw the game with this weird combo if it's behind. So basically, you go, am I behind? If yes, draw the game. I'm not a big fan of Spirits personally. Tempo decks that don't play Lightning Bolt in Modern seem weird to me. Thanks for writing that up, Stingy. Stiggy, there's no N in there. That question is just gonna get asked a lot during the next league based on experience, so I just want to head that off at the pass. Do I like Merfolk instead? No, I don't think Merfolk is particularly good either. I think Spirits is a fine deck. It obviously has like a number of reasonable results. I just personally don't care for tempo decks that don't have Lightning Bolt in them. Merfolk is pretty mediocre. I think Merfolk's just like kind of poopy humans at this point. They're doing very similar things, but humans has better disruption. All right, let's draw a Blood Moon before they get to Cryptic Mana. The queue is not in a slow. I should have played that tapped. For subs, there's currently a normal $10 donation. to add a deck to the queue. As always, please use the Google form for deck submissions. If I was going to an event tomorrow with a huge prize but no teammates, what deck would I pick right now? I don't know. I'd be preparing. Tournaments don't just pop up out of nowhere. I'm a responsible adult, so like I get prepared pretty far out. Like the Invitational is coming up at the beginning of December, right? So my goal is to narrow down my deck selection in both formats to like 2 to 3 decks before the end of the month, and then like spend November narrowing those 2 to 3 deck choices in each format down to 1. What do you think about Kalitas and Ritual of Soot and Black White Chad? Maybe it's too cute. I think that deck just wants Damnations. It doesn't want more clunky 4-mana spells. The Black White deck's issues are that it's like has too much clunk, not that it doesn't have enough. We'll have a tougher or a weaker field. They will have a much harder field. In my experience, having played a bunch of SCG tournaments, the SCG opens that happen on the same weekend as an invitational tended to be much harder than normal opens, because remember, Magic's a game that has a lot of variance in it, so there's a lot of good players there that weekend to play in a tournament, and they aren't all going to guaranteed day 2 just because they're good. Trophy on upkeep doesn't matter because the land from Trophy comes into play untapped. It's not Path to Exile. So the timing on Trophy doesn't really have the timing restrictions that we have for other things like that. Really hoping to draw Blood Moon here. Just like say goodbye to your spells. If we don't draw Blood Moon, we could actually be in a lot of trouble here. Just don't have a lot going on. I mean, Kambal's a threat at least, so we've got that going for us. Oh, because of K command. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. If Trophy during my upkeep, the K command there is different timing. I wouldn't be able to Kambal then. And that's why it's important to point out the whys, Joey. Just like pointing out that something was incorrect isn't helpful, it isn't constructive, it doesn't help people learn. So in this channel, please be sure to include why something's a mistake when you see something that's a mistake. Not only on my side of the table, but also my opponent's side. Lingering Souls, sign me up. So I'm going to play the front half of this Lingering Souls, but I'm not going to flash back the back half because my opponent showed us they have cards like Languish and Damnation in their deck. So I don't want to like lose all of my threats. I think just Kambal in play is not enough pressure, but I think 4 is more than enough to keep the clock on. Okay. Now, with this and this sequencing is again, I think this sequencing is a little bit poor for my opponent. I think they should definitely wait till my end of turn to Assassin's Trophy there, because if they wait till my end of turn, I'm not going to flash back these Lingering Souls, whereas knowing my Kambal's dead, I am going to go ahead and just flash them back now. I draw Sweeper, Jace the Mind Sculptor, sure. I'm a big fan of playing a Plains in Mardu. I think the cost associated with it is low enough that it's worth having. Especially like there's more Field of Runes, there's plenty of Field of Runes in the format. You just like don't want to get cut off of your color. So like, do I want to burn? I think I don't want to burn these Dreadbores. It's so close. I could definitely see an argument for just like clocking my opponent here. I have 2 Dreadbores. I'm just going to attack them for 4 and Dreadbore this Jace. Like, getting my spells into the bin is valuable if I draw a Bedlam Reveler. So I think it's correct to just go ahead and Dreadbore this. And again, going to hold the second Lingering Souls, because I think 4 power is plenty in play. Their deck has Languishes and Damnation, so I don't want them to sweep everything away. At this point, if they have a sweeper, it's just a 1-for-1, and then I can just like gas back up with a Lingering Souls the following turn. I'm holding the land for looting. I don't really need a 7th land in play. I might play this Blackcleave Cliffs because holding 2 lands seems loose, but And my opponent, another reason to play the Blackcleave Cliffs out here is because while my opponent doesn't know it, this Field of Ruin is currently a wasteland because I don't have another copy of a basic land in my deck. I only have 5. So they didn't attack with this, which feels like to me they have another thing here. What if they have another cryptic command? I mean, it's actually better than Wasteland, right? Because this replaces the land for them. So it's like Wasteland Plus. It like takes me down a land, but like gives them a basic. So when I called it Wasteland, that's misspeaking on my part. So I think I'm gonna Brutality with Escalate here post-combat. This feels like another cryptic command. I'm gonna ditch the Mountain to Drain plus Bad Duress. What on God's green earth is going on outside of my home? Well, that is truly unfortunate. That is quite the hand of Magic the Gathering cards, chat. That is quite the hand of Magic the Gathering cards. Blood Moon. Blood Moon. Blood Moon. If we draw a Blood Moon here, we could like Blood Moon them after they snap Cryptic me. His hand is quite snappy. On point. Yeah, my deck got the first part of it right. They drew me a card that starts with blood. Did I buy a helicopter, right? When we move in the spring, we're gonna have a bunch of sound deadening in my new office, since this is hopefully going to remain being a permanent job. So when things are loud outside, they won't interrupt. What are they doing? They should be done momentarily. There's literally a tree chipper. They're feeding large parts of a cut off tree into a chipper. We are 2-2 in this league, and this is game 3 of the last match. Seeing if we can be a real modern deck or not. How do we feel about cast Lingering Souls here? I think I like it. It means they can't crack this fetch land. It also means if they attack with these, I can block. The fetch is kind of scary there, because it means that they have a way to interact with my board here. Yeah, if they get to Damnation plus Jace here, I guess we can still pull back into this if they Damnation plus Jace, because I have this Dreadbore. Like, I have Dreadbore, and then I could rip, like, a Bedlam Reveler. We're currently 20 cards into my deck and have not drawn a Bedlam Reveler. Have I drawn a Faithless Looting or a Faithless Looting? So, arguably our 2 best cards in the matchup have not been in the top third of our deck here. We don't know that they have Damnation, but they definitely could. I think I boarded some of the bolts out. I boarded one bolt out. I'm gonna go ahead and trade with these because this feels like a, like they have another cryptic or something anyways. Assume I'm getting cryptic commanded here. Like the 5th time. It's literally the 5th time, right? We've had cryptic, cryptic, snap, cryptic, and then cryptic again. Thoughtseize is a decent pickup. We know they have a Snapcaster Mage. Good God. Man, that's brutal. Yeah, I've driven through there a few times, Isha. That's on my route to, like, Indy and stuff like that. We drive right through there on 74. I'm gonna flashback to Lingering Souls, just put lethal into play. Sweep me. They didn't sweep me last turn, right? And, like, if they had it, they could have. I think we're gonna be a little bit far behind here. Like, we haven't had Blood Moon, Bedlam, or Faithless Looting in the top over a third of our deck here, which are all cards that, like, would have ended the game on the spot if we'd have drawn any of them. And we're not dead and gone yet, but we're definitely not a favorite to win here at the moment. I concur that we're not going to concede. As arguably the king of concessions, I don't think we're dead enough to concede here, but we're definitely not a favorite. I guess they have looks at Damnation here because they can vision, snap visions, cast Damnation. Oh, and then they get to play Kalitas to stabilize their health total. I mean, alright. I should have checked if we had a land to fetch. I don't think we do, actually. Yeah, that was a mistake. If there was a card that could drag us back into this game kicking and screaming, this is it. Wow, that's rancid. Holy crap. Wow. Alright. Sometimes it's just not meant to be, chat. Sometimes, like, if we'd have drawn Blood Moon here, I guess even Blood Moon's not that good because they have 2 Snapcasters. You know, I don't know. We would need to, like, thoughts. I don't even know. I don't even know if we had live draws at that point. We needed to hit something before they found the Damnation. Yeah, looting at any point that game would have powered us through. Thoughts on this? This is the kind of core deck list I've been playing for a while. The guns I like to stick to on Mardu Pyromancer, if it's a deck you're interested in picking up. I think Blood Moon, Ensnaring Bridge, and Leyline of the Void are must-play cards in this archetype. Something I would kind of be interested in testing, which is something I might give a go next time Mardu Pyromancer makes it back into the queue, is the idea of trying 1 to 2 copies of Nahiri in the 75 seems reasonable. One of the losses that we had was in the back of our opponent leylining us, and Nahiri's a really nice card that is additional removal for your deck, but it can also answer things like Leyline of the Void and Rest in Peace, and when they don't draw those cards, she still looks like a very reasonable Magic the Gathering card. There were 3 bolts in my deck there. Yeah, Nahiri hits Leylines too, yeah. So I think next time we play Mardu, I might try, I think it's probably like a Collective Brutality in the main, and then like a Weretur in the sideboard, or a Molten Rain to turn into the other Nahiris, but I think that's definitely something I'd be interested in giving a go. Squid Squad, thank you very much for the brand new Tier 1 sub. I appreciate that, welcome. Thanks for the support. If you're excited about the Vexing